Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today is our 9th lesson accordingly to the book part B. But before that, let's quickly take a look what we learned in the part Alif or part A. Well, we learned two things such as Na'at and Man'ud. We said that the adjective that's describing the noun, it's called Na'at, Na'atun. And something that's described this noun, it's called Man'ud. And they are in agreement with each other in three things. Firstly, it's gender. If the noun is feminine, therefore its adjective is also feminine. Well, in this case it has ta marbuta in the end. If it's masculine, and therefore its adjective, well, if the Man'ud is masculine, its na'at is also masculine. It doesn't have ta marbuta. Secondly, they are in agreement with each other whether it's definite or indefinite. For example, in this sentence, mudarrisun is indefinite, and therefore its na'at or its adjective is also indefinite. But in the second sentence, it's quite the opposite. It's definite, and therefore al-mudarris, it's definite, and therefore its adjective is also definite. And the third thing, they are in agreement with each other, it's case. Case, it means like the ending. If it's dhamma, therefore it's also dhamma. If it's tanween, and therefore it's also tanween. If it's kasra, well, man'ud has kasra, therefore not also has kasra, and you remember that. And also the second thing that we learned in the previous lesson, it's that when adjectives have this alif and nun in the end, they never take tanween. Like kaslanu, jaw'anu, atashanu. And that's it. That's all what we learned in the previous lesson. And you were supposed, of course, you were supposed to do all the exercises to establish yourselves deeper in the understanding of what we learned in the previous lesson. So let's now move on to the next part, which is part B or part Ba. It starts with the question أين المدرس? Where is the teacher? هو في الفصل. He is in the class. وأين المدرس الجديد? Well, المدرس, it's منعوت, it has alif lam, and its adjective, which is na'at, also has alif lam. And they have also the same ending, which is dhamma without tanween. Dhamma without tanween. هو عند المدير. He is with the headmaster. Well, there is a note here. عند, it's translated as with. The noun following, it has e ending because it's mudafun ilayh. So عند, so al-mudir is preceded by a word عند, and therefore it's mudafun ilayh, and it has kasra. So what we take from this note, that the word that's following the word عند, it's majrurun, and in this case it takes kasra. Al-mudarrisu عند المدير, the teacher is with the headmaster. أين الطالب الجديد? Where is the new student? And don't forget that the adjective comes after the noun. In English you say new teacher, but in Arabic you say the opposite. Firstly you put the noun, and then you add its adjective. That's how it is. As I said, just like in the French language, as far as I remember. ذهب إلى المكتبة. ذهب, as we remember, it's translated as he went down. He is implied in this verb. He went to the office. من ذلك الرجل الطويل الذي خرج الآن من المدرسة? Well, that's something new for us. Well, let's take a look here. It's called relative pronoun, الذي. If it refers to a human being, it is to be translated who. Okay, if we are referring to a human being, we translate this الذي as who. But if we refer to an animal or a thing, it's translated which. So this الذي has two translations, who or which, depending on the context. Like الرجل, well, he's a human being, and therefore الذي is translated as who. The man who went out from the mosque just now is a merchant, well, is a famous merchant. But in the second sentence we have al-bayt, which is not a human being, and therefore we translate this الذي as which. Al-bayt الذي, the house which is in front of the mosque, of the masjid, of the mosque, belongs to the imam. That's how this الذي is translated. And let's take a look here. من ذلك الرجل, who is that man, well, الطويل, who is that tall man who went out just now from the school. هو المدير. Let's go through this sentence once more. من ذلك الرجل الطويل, who is that tall man الذي خرج الآن من المدرسة, who went out just now from the school. Who is that tall man who went out just now from the school, or who went out from the school just now? You can put it in the end in the translation. You are free to do that since you are the translator, and you will get used to that inshallah in the future when you master this language, because when you translate something from one language into another, well, you have to be creative sometimes and let yourself, change the order of words in the translation. ومن الولد الصغير الذي خرج الآن من الفصل. ومن الولد الصغير, and who is the small boy الذي خرج الآن من الفصل, who went out from the class just now. هو ابن المدير الجديد. هو ابنه, don't forget it's همزة الوصل, and therefore it's not it's pronounced by a word هو, and it's not therefore it's not pronounced. هذا ابن المدير الجديد. المدير, it's منعوت, it has kasra in the end because it's مضاف إليه. You remember, ibnu, it's something that's possessed, al-mudir, it's the possessor. So ibn al-mudir, therefore it's mudaf, and this is mudaf ilayh, and mudaf ilayh, it has kasra in the end. You must remember that, but if you forgot about it, well, it's time to review the previous lessons. So it has kasra in the end because it's mudaf ilayh, but since it's man'ut and it's not, you remember the noun it's man'ut and its adjective is not. Not is in agreement with the man'ut in the ending, and therefore it also got kasra in the end. Al-mudiri al-jadidi. Huwa ibn al-mudiri al-jadidi. MashaAllah, you see we can combine the rules that we have learned in the previous lessons. That's how far we've gotten by the grace of Allah. Alhamdulillah. لمن تلك السيارة الجميلة. Whom does that beautiful car belong to? هي للمدير الجديد. It belongs to the new headmaster. And it says, know that when lam is used with a noun having alif lam, the alif of alim lam is omitted. Like al-imam, it has alif in the beginning, but once we add this li, like belongs to, it's just omitted. It goes away. It disappears. Lil imam. Let's take a look closer. Well, the second example is better. Al mudarris, you see this alif, and then we add this lam, and there is no alif. There is no alif. Aywa. So there is alif, and then we add this lam, and there is no alif. That's how it is. Lil mudarris. Here, well, it was al-mudiru al-jadidu, but once we added this lam, now it's lil-mudiri al-jadidi. There is no alif now. لمن هذا الكتاب الكبير. Whom does this big book belong to? أهو للمدرس? Is it for the teacher? لا هو للطالب الجديد. No, it's for the new student, or it belongs to the new student. Well, it's definite. So it says لا هو للطالب الجديد. No, it's for the new student, or it belongs to the new student. Well, I think the meaning is the same. أين الملعقة الصغيرة? الملعقة, remember this. Oops. The translation of this word, it's a spoon. Where is the small spoon? هي في الكوب. This is in the cup. أين الكرسي المكسور? Where is the broken chair? هو هناك. It's there. هناك, it's translated as there. Well, everything what's left is just tamarin. How many do we have? Well, we'll get through this lesson inshallah to the end. Well, tamarin. اقرأ واكتب. Read and write. الطبيب الجديد في المستشفى والطبيب القديم في المستوصف. Well, subhanAllah, that's a mistake. في المستوصفة. Well, that's a mistake because it's supposed to have this long alif in the end. مستوصفة. Well, there is a typo here. الطبيب الجديد, the new student, is in the hospital. And why isn't it في المستشفى? Why is it في المستشفى? Because we learned in the previous lessons that words that have this long in the end, like المستشفى, أمريكا, سويسرا, Switzerland, سويسرا, مصطفى, they remain unchanged. They are exceptions, and therefore it's في المستشفى. والطبيب القديم في المستوصفة. مستوصفة, it's a place where you come for an advice from a doctor. But مستشفى, it's a place where you get treatment. That's the difference between these two words. So in this place you just take advice from a doctor. You have an appointment with a doctor. He takes, I don't know, he runs some tests. But al-mustashfa, it's a place where they provide you with the treatment. Al-qalamu, well, I don't know if it's the same place in the United States or in Great Britain, but for example in my country, al-mustashfa and al-mustawsafa, they have different buildings. So that's the meaning of these two words. القلم المكسور على المكتب. The broken pen is on the table. المروحة الجديدة. Why is it الجديدة? Because it's not and it follows the منعوت. في الغرفة الكبيرة. Well, it's المروحة, it's went. You know, this thing that blows wind at you. Subhanallah, my English is sometimes, I'm running out of my English. But المروحة, I think you understand what it is. It's a went that's blowing. الجديدة في الغرفة الكبيرة is in the big room. في الغرفة, you see it has كسرة because it's preceded by حرف الجر, preposition. But الكبيرة, it's not for منعوت, adjective for noun. Therefore it has also كسرة in the end. اللغة العربية سهلة. اللغة العربية سهلة. الولد الطويل الذي خرج من الفصل الآن طالب من الهند. The tall boy who went out from the class just now is a student from India. أنا في المدرسة الثانوية. I'm in high school. المدرسة الثانوية. أنا في المدرسة الثانوية. ذهب ذهب الرجل الفقير إلى الوزير. الرجل الفقير, a poor man, or the poor man went to the minister. جلس الطالب الجديد خلف حامد. The new student sat down behind Hamid. السكين الكبير حاد جدا. The big knife is very sharp. حاد, it means sharp. من هذا الولد الصغير? Who is this small boy or little boy? هو ابن المدرس الجديد. He is the son of the new teacher. هو ابن المدرس, مدرس كسرة, الجديد كسرة. املأ في الفراغ فيما يلي بالنعت الذي بين قوسين بعد تحليته بألف لام عند اللزوم. Well, we need to fill out these blanks with نعت, with this نعت, with these adjectives. So it would be in the right form. So it would be in agreement with the منعوت. For example, أين المدرس? You see, المدرس, it has a lam, alif lam, and therefore it's not, its adjective is supposed to have alif lam. أين المدرس الجديد؟ التاجر, you see, كبير. We just take this كبير, look at this منعوت, and do the same with the نعت. Everything what's applied to منعوت is also applied to نعت. التاجر الكبير في السوق. That's how it is. أنا طالب قديم. It doesn't have alif lam. It has dhamma in the end and tanween, and the same goes for al-qadim. أنا طالب قديم. جلس الطالب. Well, I will give you the right answers. I think that's going to be easier for us to go. جلس الطالب الجديد خلف محمد. من الولد الطويل الذي خرج الآن من الفصل؟ عمار ولد قصير. They are in agreement with each other because they are na'at and man'ut. Well, I think it's clear to this point. It's pretty clear to this point, alhamdulillah. فيصل طبيب شهير. لمن هذا السرير. It has alif lam, therefore it doesn't have tanween, because tanween and alif lam, they don't get lan. It either has alif lam or tanween. If it has alif lam, it's definite. If it has tanween, it's indefinite. That's the difference. So in this case we have alif lam, therefore maksur also is supposed to have alif lam. لمن هذا السرير المكسور. هذا قلم مكسور. أين السكين الحاد. لمن هذه السيارة الجميلة. لمن هذه السيارة الجميلة. Well, I'm not translating these sentences because they are easy to translate, and I think you know all these words by now, and therefore you can translate it easily by yourselves, inshallah. So the last exercise in our way, it's just اقرأ. So the first sentence, الطالب الذي خرج من الفصل. Subhanallah. I will go slower. الطالب الذي خرج من الفصل. خرج من الفصل الآن من إندونيسيا. The student who went out from the class just now from Indonesia. الكتاب الذي على المكتب للمدرس. الكتاب الذي على المكتب للمدرس. Well, I think in the beginning it's hard to pronounce or to read these sentences as I do. I mean quick, but feel free to read these sentences not just once, but at least 5 times at the very least. I remember when I was learning these books, Madinah course, in the beginning, I would read a lot because I wanted to sound not like fluent in Arabic. And just don't be lazy about it. You will benefit from this. At some point you will be doing this automatically, effortlessly, without thinking, but it takes practice. So if it says اقرأ, it doesn't mean that you just read once and that's it. Read it twice, 3 times, 4, 5 times, maybe 10 times. It's better. لمن هذا القلم الجميل الذي على المكتب. لمن هذا القلم الجميل الذي على المكتب. البيت الكبير الذي في ذلك الشارع للوزير. Well, let me translate this sentence. The big house, adjective comes first in English, but in Arabic it comes second. The big house which is on that street, شارع, street, للوزير, is for a minister. السرير الذي في غرفة خالد في غرفة خالد مكسور. Why is it في غرفة خالد? Why doesn't it take tanween in the end? في غرفة خالد. Well, because it's مضاف and مضاف إليه. Something that's possessed, and Khalid is the possessor. And we said that something that's possessed, which is mudaf, it doesn't take tanween. Never. Neither does it take alif lam. So في غرفة خالد. and مكسور is referred to a سرير, السرير. So السرير مكسور. But then we want to specify which one, what's the sarir, and therefore we add this part. You see, in the beginning it could be just as-sariru maksurun, but we want to specify what's this as-sarir is about, and therefore we add this الذي في غرفة خالد. So it's translated as the bed which is in the room of Khalid broken. Not Khalid broken, not غرفة broken, but as-sarir. As-sarir, it's broken. So that's it for this lesson, and let's take a look here. It says baytun. Oops, doesn't work here. Okay, baytun, it's a noun. It's something that's described, and it's man'ud. Jadidun is an adjective. It's something that describes this noun. It's called na'atun. Remember these two terms. Al-kalimat al-jadidatu, well, you know where you can find them. And that's it for this lesson. And I will see you, inshallah, in the 10th lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.